I was on the trail with my dogs. I had 8, and my mom was with me, and her dog. And we were wandering around on the trail. Oops, I guess he's laying down. We're wandering around on the trail, and the dogs were sniffing around, and he pulled away from me and made a beeline for an area under some brush. He was barking, he was digging, it had a high-pitched bark, and just going to town on an area. So usually when that happens, he ends up with a mouse or a rat or a squirrel or something interesting for me. So I just let him kind of go. And a few minutes later, he had something in his mouth, which he immediately dropped. And it rolled down about 30 feet down a hillside into a ravine. I looked at my mom and I said that I thought it was a ball, a soccer ball, maybe. And then I kind of cringed and I said it actually looked kind of like a skull. And we both kind of looked at each other. So we walked down and looked down into the ravine where it had fallen. And noticed that laying there in the leaves, there was a head. Our assumption was that, yeah, our assumption was it's Hollywood. There's always people, you know, filming little movies up there. We thought it was a prop. We hoped it was a prop. So we decided that we had to go down closer and investigate and make sure that that was really the case, because it looked quite real. But again, it's Hollywood. They do that. So we walked down to the ravine and got closer, and realized that it was a freshly severed human head.
What was your reaction? What was your emotional reaction when you realized this is real?
It was pretty much disbelief. I mean, we both kind of kept going back and forth to each other. No, it can't be. And looked and just, and once we had determined that, yeah, it was in fact real, we sort of took some deep breaths and composed ourselves and decided that, you know, we had to call 911. Neither of us had a cell phone. We stopped two hikers, and asked to use their cell phone. They came over to the site as well. And called 911 for us.
What
and
did
were there
you
for
say
a
to
few
your
minutes.
mother? What was the conversation between you and your mother? I can't even imagine. I'm walking with my mother with some dogs, and all of a sudden, when you realized it was a human head severed, what did you and your mom say to each other?
I mean, we pretty much were just sort of gasping and saying, "Oh my God!" I was shaking. It felt like a script, like somebody had written this. It just doesn't feel. It still doesn't feel real.